Okay. Hey, everybody, we're live.
Hey guys, how's it going?
All right, so right before we started the show, I was checking I was checking all the channels I'm sub to.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's official that Tonka has more or less brought the Kumite back in its entirety.
Yeah, I think so too.
You I mean, wouldn't he? Tonka has more or less brought the. My bad. I mean,
That's
like, why
right.
wouldn't he? I mean, like, sorry. I mean, like, why wouldn't he bring it back? It's like, let's face it, the Kumite is just too good of a brand.
Even with all the split ups.
Well, it just goes to show you a good brand can survive anything.
Yep. Although how do you explain Andy Worski? No, I'm kidding.
Well, I know. Well, I was also going to say, in fairness, Worski's brand is himself.
Yep. And somehow he was able to protect
And low as
his
we are,
brand from all the
and
controversies he's been
Salem's in the chat. How you doing, buddy?
in. Hey, so
Yeah. Okay. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just like loath as we are to admit it, Worski has shown that he has an ability to adapt.
yeah, I don't think there's that much of a dispute about that.
Yeah. Although after his last fuck up, I will be impressed if he comes back from that. It's just like, I'm sorry. How do you get mixed up in fucking up an investigation into a pedophile ring on Instagram where you're probably the only one who's holding all the evidence, which means you may have possibly downloaded child porn. How do you come back from that?
To be honest, I think he's just completely brain dead. All the drugs has just wiped his
That's what
mind.
I told, dude. When they broke that story over the Kumite, I sent that string to Brian and told him this is why you need to get away from coke, otherwise you turn into this.
Yep. Although,
Brian's only response was, "But I don't stream."
yeah, and I think for in Brian's case, it's a joke.
I know it's a joke. I know Brian doesn't. We both know Brian doesn't actually do coke.
Oh no, he's in the army. They're not going to stand for that shit.
Although I can tell you, I have on good authority that coke is actually the drug of choice in the army.
Oh boy, yeah, I'm not surprised because Brian has this ability to bring up stuff that involves the army.
Well, yeah. Do you want to know why?
Easier to get.
No, not Brian. Why
Oh,
it's the army's drug of choice.
yeah, easier to get.
It is, but it also gets out of your system quickly because soldiers that get hooked on this shit, like they will do a whole bunch of it like a few days before they're gonna do a drug test. It's a by the time the time test rolls around, it's already out of their system.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. It only takes a few days to get coke out of your system. There was a guy at my church. He used to be a cokehead when he was in the army. I expected Worski to have skeletons in the closet, but not that small. It's not so much a him having. It's not so much a skeleton in his closet, Salem. So much as him being a case study as to why you should never do coke because it turns your brain into mush and leads you to making really stupid decisions.
But then again, it's been discovered that the majority of cocaine in the Toronto party scene is actually meth.
Oh, that's even better. Well, either way, like his brain's been turned into mush.
Yeah, and I think it has to do with more than the drugs he's taking. I think he was rather weak-minded to begin with.
Honestly. Yeah. Yeah, but and then of course there's that fight he's getting into with Ethan and Ralph, which they quote unquote was staged.
And then he'd have the pedophile LARPer claim that call the police to check on them.
Wait, what? Pedophile LARPer?
Zoom.
Oh, wait, that guy. He LARPs at being a pedophile? Kidding?
Well, it's either he's LARPing it or he actually is one.
Holy. Welcome into the chat, Arwing. How you doing?
Airing.
You know, I have to stick to caffeine and alcohol, best drugs ever. I don't know. I mean, like, we know a few people that like nicotine.
Yep.
And also, I would say, as far as drugs go, where marijuana is concerned, you could do worse.
Yep. Although switching subjects, because it's so easy to talk about this kind of stupidity every day, but we don't want to get direct into it.
Yeah, well, that's not what our show's about anyway.
Yeah. What do you think about everyone who's taking the Avengers promo and running it with their own?
I haven't seen that. You gotta show me a link.
Well, first of them is from a Disney affiliated Disney product for Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the whole Avengers Fallen thing. And then you have John Wick.
Oh, wait, I get it. I get what you're saying. It's like it's basically the new meme now is just to make promos in the style of Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, but I think in the case of Kingdom Hearts 3 and quite possibly John Wick, they're brands that have some association with Disney.
Really?
Go look up John Wick. I'm curious right now. Was John Wick a Fox film?
I don't remember off the top of my head. Let me check. I think it was. Was a legendary movie.
Okay, and I'm going to look up see who they're affiliated with. It's Warner Bros. And Universal. So no, John Wick has no affiliation with Disney. So they're just making a meme out of it.
Yeah, this thing is it's a meme.
Meme marketing at its best.
Sadly, it doesn't look like we can do that yet.
And by the time we are able to, we can't.
Yeah, because like that's the thing. Memes have really short shelf lives.
Yep. Although I think that you could probably meme Sabrina.
That is true. I can. I'll give it that. I'll give you that much. That I can do. Yeah. Although, I'm trying to think. Isn't there are memes out there that have managed to last for years? I think.
Yeah.
I mean, Keyboard Cat has. I don't think anyone's gotten sick of Keyboard Cat yet.
And Grumpy Cat's still out there.
Okay, actually, I think it kind of goes that. Okay, so it seems like the only way to ensure that you're Yeah. I think the only way to ensure that your meme has a long shelf life is to make sure that it has a cat in it.
More or less.
Does that mean that Captain Marvel's gonna be with us for years to come because of her cat?
No, because they did something stupid with the cat. They had the cat claw out. They had the cat be responsible for Nick Fury losing his eye.
No, it wasn't him. It wasn't him being betrayed, and it wasn't war. It wasn't a war injury. Like it. Actually, I think isn't that how it originally happened? Like he lost his eye when he was in combat.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain. Back when the original Nick Fury was out there, it was a serious story. So yeah, he did lose it in combat.
Yeah, well, yeah, back when it was Nick Fury and his Howling Commandos, right?
Yep, and then the Ultimate Nick Fury more than likely lost his eye in combat because of the serious nature of the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah. I mean, that's cut. Yeah, I mean, I think because the original Nick Fury, like he was a World War II vet, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think so. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense that he got his. Nah, Captain Marvel will always be with us because Disney is not going to let you forget it happened.
No, and get ready for the next Marvel movie involving Captain Marvel and Nick Fury because, oh boy, is there going to be a reckoning between him and that cat.
Oh boy. Yep.
Good evening.
Hey, Ted.
So, how's everybody doing?
We were talking about how the only way to ensure that your meme has a long shelf life is to make sure that it has a cat in it.
Well, I'm not too much into the thing for long-term memes at this point in time. What I am looking at, though, is Borderlands 3.
Yeah, I never thought that was actually going to happen.
It's Gearbox. It's not Valve.
I don't know. It just like, I didn't know if Gearbox had any interest in doing anything more with Borderlands, and then there was the whole kerfuffle they had with Aliens, Colonial Marines.
Well, Borderlands 2 was released after Colonial Marines. And with the amount of times that Colonial Marines changed hands, I think the thing that really was their biggest problem was the fact that it was confirmed that the head, Mr. Pitchford, had CP on his PC.
Yeah.
Also, I think
Allegedly.
wasn't there also a big difference between their E3 demo and the final product?
Yeah, when it came to Colonial Marines, which was a licensed property. Now, the funny thing about Gearbox themselves, and a lot of people will shoot me for saying this, but their first-party titles, the ones that they make themselves, their own IP that they raise from the ground up, are flawless. Well, not flawless, but compared to their work that they do, that's outsourced to them, their games are good. Borderlands, even though I think the 90 bajillion guns when you're trying to make a looter shooter is a bit fucking excessive, because there is a point where the quantity becomes useless and the quality really starts to take a sharp drop off.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think at a certain point, like all the guns just blend together.
And the writing from a certain what's the guy's name? Fuck.
I'll look him up right.
The crazy lady who did the voice for Tiny Tina, her brother. Anyways, the writing from that guy, considering the fact that he's also a woke new male ally, also
Anthony
puts
Birch.
Yes, Anthony Birch, all the stuff with Randy Pitchford. It really puts a lot of the writing in a very horrible and stark contrast at this point in time.
Yeah, I would definitely say between the two, the first Borderlands had much better writing.
The first Borderlands had better writing. The characters were a hell of a lot better. I mean, Brick may not have been the most interesting character when you read his story and everything. I mean, here's a guy that's out for, You could think of him as proto John Wick because he really went on a rampage because they killed his dog.
Yeah, but I think like a lot of the but like with the first Borderlands, like the writing was just sharper, the humor was better, the characters were more interesting.
The humor in number 2, they really leaned too far towards the vulgar humor a bit too much. And
like it was,
Skeeter, yeah, and Skeeter was overused. He's like that guy from GTA 5 that's also completely overused. Like
Trevor? Are you talking about Trevor?
Yes, Trevor. We get it. You want this guy to be funny. You want him to be a thing. But for fuck's sake, there's a point where you have to cut it off.
What? You said Skeeter. Were you talking about the robot?
Well, the robot as well. But
Skeeter
and Claptrap, both of them.
Oh, yeah, Claptrap. Yeah, we're thinking of two different guys. Yeah.
No, I'm thinking of both of them because both of them are overused to the point. But
I'll say that. I think you can cut Claptrap some slack since he's more there since he has a purpose beyond just
since
being
he's there to irritate the living shit out of you.
I was also going to say he's there to give you missions, isn't he?
Occasionally. And then you get to the complete other end of the spectrum and you look at their first work, a Half-Life 2 expansion, Opposing Force. It was a good expansion. It was a lot of fun. Added a lot to the original Half-Life. And then their first game, Brothers in Arms. A very well thought out tactical shooter set in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
That is probably, in my opinion, their seminal work. For me personally, it's their best game they made to date. It eclipses Borderlands by any stretch of the imagination.
Salem says, is anyone nervous about Borderlands 3 concerning that the game industry has gone bonkers? The last two weren't bad, but third time's the charm.
Let's see. Here's my prediction. It's going to be monetized as fuck. It's probably going to have some very horrendous live service stuff, considering that Gearbox it'll be published by Take-Two most likely. Alternatively, it's probably going to be a mobile game. Because everybody wants to make a mobile game these days. Or it's going to have some battle royale elements.
They're going to slap on a multiplayer.
Well, Borderlands was already multiplayer. Most fun to be had with Borderlands was when you were playing co-op.
Well, not like that. I mean, like they're going to not like that. I mean, like they're going to try something more akin to like say Halo or Call of Duty.
Probably.
Or we'll actually in the current climate, something more akin to Fortnite.
It's going to have a battle royale element. Watch what I'm saying.
Yeah, which trends. Those are always fun.
Yeah, they're like internet movements.
and in both cases, they both chasing both. And in both cases, you're chasing both under the mistaken conceit that it will make you money.
Yes, indeedy do.
I asked that from the Gamergate YouTubers.
Yeah, where's your money now, boys?
Huh.
All dried up.
Yep.
Now let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Which is?
Sargon?
Article 13.
Sorry, Tank. What was that?
Article 13.
Oh, yeah. All I can say is, glad none of us are in the EU.
Yeah, but see, that's a problem. You might not think it might not affect you now, and I've seen a lot of people trying to defend it, stating no, it won't be as bad for creators and everything. One of the accounts that I follow on Twitter did a whole massive post about it. I'm just like, are you really honestly that naive to believe that what the politicians are saying about it now They won't
No.
heavy-handedly use it against you later on.
I mean, let's face it, the EU has kind of shown itself to be a bunch of despotic dickbags.
Yeah, gee, and here I thought the Third Reich was dead. No, we're heading straight for the fourth. Jawohl, mein Führer Merkel.
Except in this one, it's more tolerant, more open, more diverse.
Yeah, right up until the point the moonlit roof tossing starts.
Yeah, look, I think it all goes without saying though. The EU's it's dying. Everyone knows that. It's like it's running out of money.
See, that's the thing. That's the one thing that a lot of people don't seem to want to grasp. If Brexit goes through and it's a no-deal Brexit and the UK says, okay, we are out, like gone. The only country fiscally holding the EU afloat is Germany. But then there's the other little problem that a lot of people also do not look at. Up until now, why was the EU able to perform all these miraculous versions of socialism? They had the United States to do the heavy military lifting for them.
Yeah, the EU doesn't have an army.
They have their own marginal armies, but not to the point where they could feasibly stand up to any large-scale invasion.
Let me put it this way. The member states have their own militaries, but the EU itself does not have one.
Yes, Europe does not have an army, although that is what Barnier and Tusk and all those guys from Brussels wanted to do.
Yeah, the problem is armies cost money.
Money that they don't have because they sunk it all into these wonderful little social programs, which is constantly being gobbled up by all their wonderful social programs and the mass uncontrolled immigration.
Yeah, and I don't think you even need. I'm not even sure you really need the UK to leave the EU to really hurt it. I mean, you got what Poland and Hungary and all those other Eastern European countries are doing. That's going to do a lot of damage on its own.
Yeah, the Visegrad nations, Poland, Czechoslovakia, and two others, Hungary and one other I always forget, but those nations, they are also a massive thorn in the side of the EU. I mean, Poland and Hungary themselves, they were very clever.
Guarantee they decide to pull out. That's gonna hurt it big.
Well, they're already in the process of pulling out. They've been doing it for a long time. I mean,
and
then there's the other one.
I just want to say though, unlike the UK, Visegrad, there's going to be very little resistance to the Visegrad nations pulling out from within. Internally speaking, their own people want to get out.
Yeah, no, because remember, these were nations that first suffered under the heel of actual Nazis, and then they suffered under actual fucking communists. So they've already had it on both ends, far right and far left. They don't
like,
want
fuck
it
you,
anymore.
fuck you, we are leaving. That Eastern European accent. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's just it's crazy. But then there's the whole thing. Look at the recent uprisings in France.
Yeah. By the way, guys,
yeah,
all that Lenore's in the chat.
Hey, Lenore.
How's it going?
I almost feel like we should get a hashtag free Lenore going.
Yeah. Remember, I'm not looking at the chat as always, so you're gonna have to tell me if there's any.
I'll link it to you. I'll send you guys the link so you can see.
No, I can't.
I got it.
Then the connection dies.
Oh shit.
Yes.
Sorry.
Which is the whole thing. I never look at the chat in any one of the live streams I've ever been on because I literally cannot.
Shit. Not bad.
Yes.
So yeah, we're glad she's
wonderful
there.
potato connections of the third world.
Glad you're there though, Lenny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were saying?
Me.
Yeah, before we get sidetracked, you were saying?
Yeah, so the French wanted to deploy the military to attack their own people, the Yellow Vests.
Oh, yeah, that's going to have really great optics.
Well, see, that's the one thing that a lot of these guys really don't want to understand. You're sending your military in to take down your own people that are calling for your own country to be sovereign again. Sure, you'll have how should I put this, the ultra patriots, or rather the guys that have been brainwashed so much that yes, they'll follow through. But the moment one of them opens fire on French citizens, you're going to see the thing that I will say will probably happen, as would happen in any country that's not a full-blown dictatorship. The military will fracture.
We're talking French Revolution 2.0.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. But in this case, the majority of the military will probably side with the French people. Yeah. There's going to be a very swift military coup. They're going to take over, and
let me guess. They're gonna drag Macron to Madame Guillotine.
Probably.
Figuratively speaking.
And then what's going to happen from there is the EU is going to take another massive knock. And once that happens, once there is blood on a soldier's hands from one country, it's going to spill over. You're going to see and I hate saying this. I'm not saying it is. I'm just basing this on human nature and historical facts, as we've all seen them, how past. It's going to spill over into full-blown European civil war. And Article 13 most likely will be the catalyst for this shit.
I can believe you, because a buddy of mine, he's Greek. He's been talking with me about how he's got a very good feeling that there's going to be a civil war out in Greece.
Greece has been suffering greatly under European austerity measures. And the problem is, each year on year, these austerity measures are just becoming worse and worse, with no way out or way to look forward for the Greeks.
And plus, like, they're probably, I guarantee you, Greeks are watching and they're seeing like how good Italy's actually starting to get together right now.
Yeah. So these are the unfortunate things that people don't want to talk about. And because nobody talks about it, because the news keeps squashing it. Legacy media keeps killing it because they don't want people to talk about it.
Like I said, they don't even need to. Like I said, Greeks, like, they don't even need to look at the media. Like I said, Italy's got it. Italy's getting its act together. There's likely the Italians are likely going to be making a move to get out of the EU very soon.
Yeah, as much as I hate saying these things, and Atalexit will be happening soon after the whole debacle in the EU Parliament with Article 13. There's rumors of a proposed Swexit. The Swedes are looking to get out for some arbitrary reason. I don't know. The Swedes, of all places.
Wow.
Fucking Sweden.
I guess the Viking spirit isn't completely dead after all.
Or it's just been so repressed that the people have moved. The people that still have the spine aren't living in the cities. I mean, think about it. The majority of the voting power of the majority of the European nations don't sit in the countryside. Think of your own state. They're in Washington.
Well, dude, it's this. Yeah, I know. It's the same out. Yeah, I know. It's the same out here. The majority of the, like, if you're running for, let me put it this way, you're running for governor out in Washington. If you can't win in Seattle, you're dead. You can't. You've got no chance.
You're sunk. The same thing goes for European nations. The major voting power sits in the cities, the major cities.
Fuck, I mean, it's probably the same out in South Africa, I bet.
Actually, no. The majority of the voting power does not sit in the cities. It sits in the rural areas where news and internet coverage are non-existent, where the people have been voting.
Kidding me.
No, I'm 100% honest. But there's been a year-on-year trend that as the rural areas lose money due to the ANC's horrible mismanagement of those areas that they keep winning, a lot of the young people move to the cities for a better life. So they get
Because
into Johannesburg, they get to Durban, they get to Cape Town, Bloemfontein, Port
they go there
Elizabeth.
because that's where the jobs are.
They go, yes. Then they get access to international news. They get access to alternative media, internet. And all of a sudden, their world broadens and they see that, oh shit, we've been fucking lied to. All these wonderful things that we've been told by our elders out in the sticks don't mean jack shit. Then they realize that they've been literally been brainwashed and told bullshit lies.
Yeah.
So, and that's why ever since 1994, the first election after 94 and 99, you saw a decrease in the ANC's power, and that's been happening election on election. The problem is, it's now reached the point where there have been enough splinter parties that if they enter into a coalition with them, they can retake that top spot of theirs with guys like Malema from the EFF. However,
they've essentially kind of gamed the system, right?
No, because they don't have the full-blown majority. The only way they got land reform to be discussed was via coalition politics. And right now, the land reform issue has ground to a halt because it's now run into the one little thing that they did not think of. So they thought, cool, we'll rush through with expropriation without compensation. I haven't talked about it a lot because it's the one thing that that a lot of people don't look at. It's already once more clashing against very ironclad rules in our constitution. Now, obviously, it has been shown that dictatorships don't really care too much about your constitution and things. But this is the one part where they really did overstep their boundaries. It is unconstitutional. They have to compensate owners for the land.
And they are effectively seizing it.
But they can't provide them with land because they stole all the fucking money. And then there's the other little problem that because they already own around 80% of the land in the country, they don't really have much legs to stand on to take the land, which is why they don't do anything about the farmer tax. Because what's a better way to get rid of people? Follow the Stalin method. No man, no problem.
Okay, you're almost making it sound like they are just like they're sending hitmen out to farms just to get rid to kill off people, or I don't know. Okay, that's a bit too conspiratorial. It's more like
you're actually not wrong.
Really?
No, you're not wrong, because a lot of these guys have been caught on camera walking around with military equipment. The latest gear from the most well-guarded military bases from Gauteng and those places, not the Simonstown Naval Armory. I'm talking about guys walking around with military-grade jamming and communication equipment.
Shit. Yeah, they're.
It's not conspiratorial.
Dude, I would, man, I almost was willing to kind of roll with the idea that it was just like, it was, okay, I hate having to say this just because I hate having to say this, but it's true. I was willing to kind of more believe that the farm attacks were 100% racially motivated because it's getting revenge on Whitey, even though this is in one country. This is in a country where whites are a minority. Hello.
That's true. Yes, I know it's true, but look at it this way.
No, I'm going somewhere with this. Just give me a sec.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I was one to believe that, like, because I happen to know for a fact, like, there's a lot of animus towards white South Africans because of apartheid.
Yes, there is.
And so I was just willing to believe, okay, this is a bunch of violent thugs going around killing and possibly raping whites fights for some perceived injustice because apartheid and reparations and blah 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 blah. And it was just kind of it's just random acts of violence. That's what it looked like. That's how it looked like to me. But now it's just like the government was just looking the other way because it was just convenient. And now you're telling me this may possibly actually be sanctioned. This may actually be sanctioned. Yeah, sanctioned. Yeah. That's almost worse. Actually, no, that is worse.
That's African politics in a nutshell. Look at any major African dictatorship throughout history.
Yeah, you just need Rhodesia. Well, Zimbabwe.
Yeah. Just look at Zimbabwe. Look at Somalia. Look everywhere in Africa where there was a previous white colonial power and they cede control to somebody else. All of a sudden, you have...
In Zimbabwe's case, seized all the land from the white farmers, and the ones that didn't get out of the country, they killed.
Yep. Pretty much. African politics is extremely brutal, extremely tribalistic. And once people have gotten fed up enough, once everything's gone completely down the shitter, full-blown civil war breaks out. Now, the only reason Zimbabwe has not ascended into full-blown civil war just yet is because the foreign aid hasn't dried up yet. There's still enough foreign aid that it kind of keeps the country afloat.
Yeah.
Once that money dries up, all bets are off. That is the sad, unfortunate roadmap that every nation in Africa will walk. And many a wonderful scholar has already said that Africa needs to build something that they can be proud of. But they unfortunately keep falling back into the trap of just blaming someone else, because that is how they are forced to believe, indoctrinated from birth.
Yeah,
they are not made. They're not. Sorry, let me just finish. They're not allowed to think that they can make something of themselves. And when you do eventually get one or two guys that manage to make something of themselves, they get written off as white people. They are suddenly the out group. They are suddenly ejected from, quote unquote, the tribe. So whatever they say does not hold water.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. It's just like a buddy of mine once showed me a video of this one, this one black preacher out in, I think it's Michigan. I forget his name. I swear to God, these are actual words that came out of this guy's mouth. He said, black people, I'm going to tell you a hard truth. Well, actually, I'm paraphrasing. These aren't his actual words, but this is effectively what he said. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys a hard truth. Black people never built a civilization. They could never manage to build a 2-story house. I swear to God, that was...
I actually saw this clip.
Yeah, I cannot remember that guy's name.
I remember the clip. I saw it myself as well. And that is once again, that's the sad, unfortunate truth. Because, I mean, even today, the slave trade amongst them is still rough.
Yeah. I mean...
And like I said, for each one, just for every one that manages to drag himself out of the muck, you have 10 falling back into it because it was easier. I mean...
About the only one that about the only African nation I think that actually had a civilization at one point, and even then there's a major gray area with it, was Egypt. Because I think I've heard some people claim that Egypt isn't actually African or something.
No, because the majority of Egypt is ruled by the Arabs. They ejected the African tribes that used to live there, which is why they speak Arabic and they have Arabic customs.
I'm talking like ancient Egypt.
Ancient Egypt, exactly, because that is how far back the Egyptian dynasty and people go, because they came in with superior war tactics, carriages, bows and arrows, things like that. They had ranged capacity because at that point in time, how African tribes fought was with the short spear. This is now something that's been traced throughout Africa entirely, which is when South Africa is called the assegai, and a small little shield just used to parry spears. They had no ranged weapons. So you get guys that come in on horseback with bows and arrows, and they can decimate you at range. Look at what happened to the Mayans and the Aztecs when the Spanish conquistadors arrived.
Yeah, they had guns
with modern firearms, and yet you have guys that are still mucking about in animal skins.
Oh, and let's not forget, come around with diseases you're not immune to either.
Let's not talk about those. I mean, I'm just talking about the technology aspect.
Yeah, no, it's just like but what killed off most of the Aztecs and Mayans was disease.
Yeah, after the enough of them were wiped out anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not like there was much of their civilization left that would be able to survive, even if some of them miraculously, got over whatever the Spaniards and everybody brought to them.
Yeah.
But that said, just the technology aspect alone, even if you're just talking melee weapons versus bows and arrows and throwing spears, it's a massive difference.
Yeah, Genghis Khan was able to make an empire with guys on using bows and arrows riding horses.
Yeah, just the fact that they used horses in cavalry. Goodbye, Europe.
Oh, yeah.
Because now you have
the Mongols get us. Do you know if the Mongols got as far as Vietnam, Matt?
More likely.
Yeah, those guys did get around. They're also the only people who successfully invaded Russia in the winter.
Yeah, because they came from the Mongolian steppes, which pretty much has the same climate as Russia. So they used to cold, harsh nothing.
Yeah. Much as I kind of fallen out of love with Crash Course, I will say that's probably one good meme they have, unless you're the Mongols.
So is Matt in, or am I suffering with a bug that we've been having the last couple of days that somebody just magically can't be heard anymore?
No, I just think Matt just had nothing. Just hasn't had much to say.
Yeah, I don't have much.
So yeah, it's enough of the dreary stuff. Sorry to ruin your morning.
How about that? How about those
Here's something funny. Here's something funny. Salem says in the chat, did you hear Mexico demanded Spain apologize recently? Spain basically told Mexico to fuck off. Colonialism, I guess.
Yeah, but isn't Mexico
crazy
made up of Spaniards?
Colonialism. You do realize that without Spain, you would probably not have a lot of stuff you have right now, and somebody else would have just come along and conquered your ass.
Mexico wouldn't exist without Spain.
It's the harsh truth. I'm sorry to say it. But somebody else would have come with guns, and they probably would not have been as charitable as the Spaniards.
That is true. Okay, so yeah, enough with the fucking colonialism. Why?
Yeah. Happy news. Juan Poole is at $9,362.
That's great. How many more days are left on the campaign for them to get to 10?
4 days.
Think they can pull it off?
I believe they can, because I believe that this is a 10 grand plus campaign from the start.
Same.
If you recall, I was pushing for it to get there from day one. After it reached funding on day one, I was like, this can reach 10 grand. This can get there.
Yeah. And on a related note, I don't know if you might. I think this was kind of going between some private chats between me, Matt, and Dan. But Dan Dan recently had a chat with Brett Smith. And
Yes.
Brett was actually surprised that we had been promoting the book for as long as we did because he hadn't noticed.
Well, let's put it this way. He hasn't been on Twitter a lot, and his feed probably got spammed to death with drama.
Yeah.
I'll be back
Yeah,
now. I just gotta
also-
get the dog inside quickly.
Right. Also, there's about 1,300
I'm gonna have to bellow a
people
little
that
bit
he's
on
following.
Yeah, it's true. It's like, yeah. Actually, now that Tank mentions it, I had not seen a lot of activity from Brett on Twitter recently.
No, probably because he's done with all the drama from internet movements.
Well, that and well, you know what? Even though Brett was one of the original quote unquote founders of Comicsgate, I think when you get right down to it, Brett's a working man. He does.
Yeah, and I think
He doesn't.
I think that
You go. It's like that thing where you and another guy cannot get past each other. Like you're both trying
yeah,
to walk,
just
you keep
go
moving.
ahead.
You guys keep moving in each other's direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
yeah.
go ahead, Brett.
Yeah, I was gonna say though, I mean, like, because when you get right down to it, Brett's a working man, which means that drama matters much more less to him than getting work done, because work means money for him.
Okay, I'm
Well,
back.
that and welcome back. That and I think
Hello.
the majority of the founders of that movement have left.
Did this thing die?
No,
Oh, okay. I thought I came back to a dead stream.
it is not dead. It's not dead.
No, I said welcome back.
Not yet. Oh no, it's fun. But yeah, so Brett Smith, yeah, probably not one for it, because like I said, drama probably kills his feet and he's like, well, more of this shit. Let me go back to work.
Yeah, Brett's got too good of a work ethic to care about drama.
Exactly. So
Yeah, so aside from the fact that he was surprised that we had been promoting it, what Dan talked with him, and Brett had a suggestion about our release date.
oh.
He suggested we move it to, like, hold it up. Let me pull up my calendar so I make sure I get this right. About a little over a week past tax day.
That actually makes sense, because that means a lot of people would have probably gotten their returns by then, which means they will be flush with cash and will be wanting to spend it probably on something.
Yeah. And after some careful consideration, Matt and I decided, yeah, good idea. We were
Plus
kind of a little
you're
bit waiting
launching-
for. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are.
Now let's put it this way.
Mhm.
Sorry, I interrupted you there. But basically, the one thing that you're going to be doing is you will be launching on a platform that is a lot larger, has a lot more foot traffic. You've already built up a large enough group of people interested via, Dan's push on Instagram and everything.
Not just that, we've also worked with a lot of good people.
And you've cultivated a large group of people on Twitter as well. So you have more than enough interest, and I do believe you'll be able to make your goal. I would, at this point in time, new book, little ambitious depending on your goal. I would, at this point in time, peg you at 2 to 3 days in terms of getting it fully funded.
Well, it's not just one book; it's 3. It's a whole
I
universe.
know, which is what I'm saying. Like I said, because it's new. Just don't take this the wrong way. Because it's new, I'm talking 2 to 3 days. I will gladly revise and say, okay, cool, I was wrong. But that's where I'm putting it. I'm putting it at 2 to 3 days fully funded. And depending on your goal, I would probably say around, if you do get it in that first 2-3 days, I would put it that you would probably get around to 200 to 230% funded at a stretch.
Hold up.
Realistically, probably
math.
around 150 to 175%.
Hold the phone. I need to do math there. Okay, so our goal is $6,000. Okay. You said, let's just round that off, 200%. So, okay, how do I do that math?
Essentially double. 200% is double of your initial goal.
So we make about $12,000.
That is what I'm thinking, yes.
Fuck, that's enough. Dude, if we make $12,000 off this, that's enough for us to fund the next issue.
Remember, I'm saying this as a outlier. I'm putting that as an outlier. I'm not putting that as a guarantee. I'm thinking probably close to around 150, 175.
Okay. Let me do the. I mean, that's okay. So maybe that's still a good shot. That's still a good amount of money to get to fund the second issues.
Exactly. So you will be making a fair chunk extra to push towards the next titles.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, yeah. I mean, like that's enough. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah. Well,
and
that's
now that the covers have been revealed.
I was gonna say though, just because I think what Dan was talking with me and Matt about this, and I think a lot of what he's been trying to, the angle that Dan is coming at this with is it's not just people are not just buying books; they're speculating into a brand. Like, yeah, because this isn't we aren't just. Which is a move I agree with, because we are not just funding a book. We're not just funding some comic books. We are trying to build a legitimate brand out of this. I mean, you see what Cody's doing with Ironverse comics, and that's essentially what we are trying to do with Mythoverse.
But instead of the hard sci-fi Western angle, you are looking more towards the fantasy crowd and the darker edged sides to it, and obviously with
I would say Cody's universe is plenty dark. It's just different genres. Cody's is more science fiction, weird western. Ours is definitely more urban fantasy. Although Cactus Coyote is definitely a more lighter take on that universe. Yeah.
No, let me put it this way. I mean, you've got the darker side to it with Adobe Kroger. You've got the obvious nice stick to it with our good friends over at the with Maeve with Changeling, and you've got the middle of the road book, which is the one that's not too dark, not too light, with Mythics.
Yeah.
So you've got a good amount of coverage. So you'll definitely get a lot of people, and then you'll have the guys that buy into all three.
Yeah.
And that is why I honestly think that at a stretch, you will probably be able to get double your funding because of the 3 different books on offer.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think Matt and I even talked about, like, if this is successful, we'll probably run a few more campaigns to keep funding future issues. But the ultimate goal is to get this machine to be self-sustainable.
Yeah, I mean, that is the whole thing, and that is the unfortunate thing that I have seen that a lot of people are unfortunately not buying into. So, Matt Ringer is...
crowdfunders are good for getting you started, but they don't. They are not a recipe for long-term success.
Yeah, and then you've probably seen a lot of the guys from quite a few groups on the internet that do not like the idea of Indiegogos at all. They are derisive about them. They don't like them at all. Even if the book pushes into a store early after it's been backed, they still do not like backing them, and they have a large amount of animosity towards these books. Understandable.
I'll excuse us. We had no other way of getting these out in a timely manner.
No. Let me just calm down. I mean, that is what I'm saying. Look at it from... I understand their perspective, I get it, because you don't want your LCS to die. But your LCS is going to die regardless if they don't get new books and new blood in.
Yeah.
And that is the sad, unfortunate truth, because as long as Marvel and DC, and we've talked about this at length, and I'm going there again, and Diamond have the stranglehold on the whole market, local comic book shops are unfortunately the first casualties in this fight.
Now, hopefully, with what Peter Samedi is doing over at Alterna, that's going.
Exactly.
That can maybe right the ship a little.
And look, these are all measures that are unfortunately coming a little bit too late. It's going to stem the bleeding. It is going to help, but it's going to take time. It's going to take long term. And then you unfortunately get shops like Big Bang Comics that just block people on Twitter because, oh no, you follow a person we don't like. Blocked.
Yeah, well, to be fair, to be fair, if what Perch has said is true, and I have every reason to believe it is, that's like a minority.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I call him the Solomon of comic books. Because literally, honestly, the amount of knowledge that man has dropped onto Twitter regarding comic book stores, he's literally like the King Solomon of comics.
Okay. I almost thought for a second you said Sargon, because
no, King Solomon the Wise, Sargon of Akkad.
Although I think the actual Sargon of Akkad was probably a wise man.
There's a reason why he
chose been tainted by some fat British guy.
Yeah, true that. But at the end of the day, it is going to be very fun, I think, because now that we've got it all done, and then we'll go from there. It's just the minority shops are going to close down, so that is a given.
Yeah, obviously.
But the ones that manage to diversify and keep their customer base happy by at least getting some books in, that'll help, because I have seen some guys are looking at doing it in the way of they've actually been very receptive of getting crowdfunded books in.
Yeah, fuck. I could probably just hit up I've got at least 3 comic book shops in Tacoma I can probably hit up and say, hey, I'm a local creator. Why don't you carry a few? I have a book that's in a brand new universe that I helped make. Why don't you get in on this?
Exactly. It all starts with that one little thing that you have to do, and from there on, you can go. I believe one of the guys from Wicked has one of the in the Wicked chat's already done that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, Matt, how many comic book shops do you have in your area?
Not many.
I've got 3.
I say not many because I can look on the comic shop locator, and basically about half of them are more likely to be collector shops. What was it? Tank?
Yeah, Matt's here.
Do you not
hear?
Yeah, I have that issue again.
Oh shit, he can't hear you, dude. Okay.
Oh boy.
Okay, so. Okay, maybe just not in your immediate area, but like just within driving distance.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Half of them are collector stores because they can't make a whole lot of money off of comics.
That's the problem. Yeah, that's an unfortunate truth that Trent dropped to me, because the money in comics isn't. For LCSs is not what it used to be, so they've had to diversify into being basically half comic book shops, 1/3 comic shops, 1/3 collector shops, and 1/3 game shops.
Yeah, I can hear you, Tank.
Yeah, now I can hear you again as well.
Yeah.
Google, I know your bots are listening. Fix your shit.
Yeah, we don't need Stadia.
Polygon does.
Yeah, game journalists do. They need something to help them beat their games.
Well, it gets just because game journalists are gonna help keep that platform floating. Like, dude, that
Didn't help them live.
I think we all know Stadia is dead on arrival. It's not enough because gamers are not going to adopt it. They don't want it. There's no interest. They have no interest in it because not only that, I mean, like Razorfist's video pretty much pointed out why this thing has no shell. Is not going to last because
taking control away from you.
Well, not just that. It's just I don't think it's even going to be control so much as performance that is going to be what kills it because there's just no way it can perform as efficiently as say my PC. I can play Fallout 4 at 60 FPS on my PC, no problem.
Yeah, but
I can
remember
the specs.
Brett, here's the big thing. Yeah. Remember, when you play a game on your PC, even if it's an online title, the majority of the data is local. So it only has to send and receive little packets to the servers to do everything else. Yeah. What Google is proposing is the same thing OnLive wanted to do all those years ago. You have nothing in terms of software in your local little box. This thing is reading everything from the servers over there. Yeah. So it's pulling all the information. Every log.
It's invasive as fuck. Don't get me wrong, but honestly, I think what's going to kill it more, what's going to hurt it more, is just the fact that it's not going to be able to perform as efficiently.
And that's exactly why I'm explaining why it's not going to perform. Because remember, you do not have the software. You are reading everything from their servers somewhere over there.
Yeah.
Because you are pulling all the data, the levels, everything. Nothing is local. Everything is being drawn through the internet. That is why this thing will not work.
Yeah, and fuck, even if you got like high-speed internet cables, it's still not going to perform as well. And fuck, that's in like first world USA. Imagine how that's going to work out in third world shit.
Well, it's not going to work.
Third world South Africa.
It's not going to work here, not at all. And I'm telling you now, and remember, the Asian countries, Japan, Korea, have faster internet than you guys do in the States. Even they struggle. Even they struggle with streaming over there.
It's just not going to work.
No, it doesn't, because technology fails. And now, put it in perspective. Google has tested this on their own internal networks at Google HQ in San Francisco.
Where the networks are going to perform flawlessly.
Exactly, which is why it just proves once more that this is a company that believes the whole world is their fucking area where they work.
Yeah, so it's just going to... Man, they're going to sink so much money into this only for them to make nothing off of it.
It's a long-term project. It's long-term. They're thinking the long game with this. They are hoping that if they keep this thing alive long enough, sink enough money into it, keep it going long enough, the networks around the world will eventually evolve to the point where they can handle it. But the problem is, if you want to push a product like this, you're going to have to keep it alive.
The thing about Google is that
you're going to lose money.
Yes, Matt?
Okay. The thing about Google is that they're not making a product just to make money. They're making a product to push a social agenda where the end goal is taking away private ownership.
Yeah.
That is another point that'll receive a lot of pushback. And as pointed out, Shill Media will try to push this thing hard. They will get the initial suckers, the people who buy into it, people who love their phones and, oh, Google is so great and all that. But it's going to reach the point where they are going to log into this thing. It's not going to perform as advertised, and it's going to go into the trash.
Yeah. Like I said, they're just going to lose money on this.
No, because they have to build the infrastructure to house everything. They have to maintain it. And at the end of the day, there's still a little thing called thunderstorms.
Yep. Oh, and imagine like, say, just just as a hypothetical, imagine if one day Google's servers go down for whatever reason.
They've gone down for numerous reasons in the past already. The only reason that people don't notice it is because they have redundancies in place.
Okay, well, let's just say there's a blackout in their area.
Let's say there's an internet blackout. But you don't realize it until you get home and you want to start playing games. Oh fuck! I've got no connection.
Yeah,
because telephone lines go down.
It's a very This thing has major vulnerabilities in its design.
And these aren't vulnerabilities. These are just basic fucking things that you should take into account. And once again, it proves that this is a company that, while they are thinking the long game, they fail to take into account that everything built by human beings will fail because we aren't perfect creatures.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so getting off of that, so I don't know, like I said, I can probably leverage the fact that I'm a local creator with my LCSs. Do you think? What about you, Matt?
I could probably do that if I'm able to. I'm gonna go. If we don't have I think on the 5th, since the day's already been taken off, I'm gonna go to my local shops and see what shops are selling mostly comics and what shops aren't.
Yeah, fortunately, my LCS, all three of the LCSs I have in my area, the lion's share of their product is comics. I've been inside them. I mean, there's some other merch in there, but it's mostly comics. Salem says his LCS started serving food to keep people interested.
Huh. Well, that's interesting.
Look, I mean, there's a lot of choices, but once again, fuck it, what the hell is going on here? Sorry, I'm just a little bit lost with a few things I'm looking at. But yeah, so I don't limit your options when it comes to the shops. Look at them all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Well, there's one comic shop I'm going to probably make a day trip to because it's so far away that I don't think I'll be able to do it in one day.
Yes. Where's this? Do you feel like telling us where this one is?
Well, it's about 45 minutes away from me, and it's in a city that no longer exists.
Flint?
No, Pontiac.
Pontiac no longer exists.
It technically does not exist because it's that far down the gutter.
Damn. I thought Flint had it bad.
Flint just has bad water, which is caused by their poor maintenance of the backup pipes.
Well, also Pontiac did not have a fat communist make a really biased documentary about them.
Well, that's because the fat communist wasn't born there.
Also true, but oh man, it was fun. It was fucking funny when Michael Moore tried promoting his new movie. I don't remember what it was. All I remember is he was on Wall Street and he had a megaphone. He said, "I am staging a citizen's arrest of Wall Street."
Oh, fucking lol.
You know, I know something. One of the big things that made me not think that there's going to be a blue wave back in November was the fact that you had these guys who made sequels to popular documentaries during the Bush administration but they flat out failed this time. You had
Yeah, well,
Michael Moore's sequel to Fahrenheit 9/11, and then you had Al Gore's second Inconvenient Truth movie.
I didn't. Well, I didn't, that was. I didn't even hear anything about that. Actually, I didn't
an
hear anything about-
inconvenient sequel.
I didn't hear. I didn't hear. Okay, so what was Al Gore's new documentary actually about Man Bear Pig?
More or less,
That
it's
would've been
basically
fucking
called
funny.
An Inconvenient Truth 2, Truth to Power.
Wow. He really, really, really scraped the bottom of the barrel for that one.
All I gotta say is like, I remember like in the original Inconvenient Truth, he talked about how there was gonna be no snow on Kilimanjaro by 2016.
And yet, in 2018, they have been recorded at the thickest levels yet.
You know,
Okay, here, I have to wonder. You know, I really have to wonder. I'm not saying that we shouldn't take global warming seriously. But what I am saying is when we're pulling ice core samples from Antarctica, and
Look,
of course Antarctica reporting record levels of ice.
look, global warming is a thing. It definitely is happening, but not to the rate and the speed that the scientists and people are reporting on.
Also, no one is going to. Also, climate change deniers. Look, the climate changes. Only an idiot would deny that. It's been changing for like ever. It always adds. That's what it does.
it's got to,
The snag is how much of an effect is man having on it. And according to some guys from what was it, APP? I forgot. I saw this in a Gavin McInnes video years ago. These guys. Was it IPP? I don't remember. If man is having an effect on the climate, it's very minimal at best.
Yeah.
well, there's
But
also,
look.
Yeah, Matt.
well, one thing that I have to say about global warming is that it's more like we're going in cycles rather than it being a global catastrophe, because they were saying the same thing in the 70s about global cooling.
Yeah, you know what? I remember reading something about a Mark Levin book years ago. Like he said, like, you know, there was global warming, and Democrats are all about global warming now. Well, not Democrats, statists. The statists are all about global warming, but years ago they were all about global cooling.
It was,
Yeah, so
even then they were saying the science is settled. Science doesn't care about that.
Yeah.
also
No,
meteorology is, as far as
not
sciences
an exact
go,
science.
it's one of the least precise, and that's because the climate is so complex and has all these moving parts. There's just enough information to get an accurate read.
Yeah. I mean, maybe one day we'll have the technology to accurately predict the weather, but not currently.
Yeah.
Today is not that day.
That is not to discount. That's not to discount what meteorologists do now. Like a lot of what they do a lot of good work. But as far as the sciences go, it's one of the least precise.
Yeah. I mean, I think at this point in time, they've got more luck predicting earthquakes than they do actual weather phenomena.
Holy
Yeah,
shit,
look.
Matt! One sec, Matt. You need to tell me if this is true. Salem is saying 96% of Lake Superior was frozen this year.
I think it was. Pretty sure it was.
Lake Superior, if I remember correctly, Lake Superior is the one with the really violent waves, isn't it?
Yeah.
And 96% was frozen?
Yep.
That's
Shit.
cold.
Well, not just that. It's just like, because the thing about it, Tank, is like I said, Lake Superior, it's like the most violent of the Great Lakes. It is very dangerous to go sailing in there.
That sounds nice. But yeah, no, it's crazy. It got cold. Yeah, the one year was back in 1996, 97, when we still lived in my old town where we used to live. It got pretty damn cold there. Thick snow, everything. And the ice on the one guy's pool got thick enough that you could walk on it, but nobody wanted to do it. So the one guy, back then, this was actually still a lot of money. He took out this was just after 100 Rand notes came onto the market. He took it out, dropped it onto the pool, and he told my brother, "It's yours if you go in and fetch it." My brother's like, "Cool." Goes onto the ice, fetches the 100 Rand, stands there. We take a photo and walks off. When we cut a block off, a chunk of the ice off, the ice was about a meter thick on the guy's swimming pool that was around 3 meters deep.
So effectively 1/3 of that pool was frozen over.
Frozen solid, yeah. Crazy, right?
He practically had an ice rink in his backyard.
Yeah, actually he did. And that is the coldest was ever got in South Africa. I don't remember the exact temperature, but it was well into the negatives. So negatives in Celsius is fucking cold in Fahrenheit. So basically 0 Celsius is 36 Fahrenheit.
Actually, 0 Celsius is 32, I think.
It was probably around minus, was definitely double-digit minuses that morning. I'm gonna fucking lie, but it was probably close to like minus 15, minus 12 thereabouts. Yeah. Colder overnight as well because like I said, the snow and everything got quite thick. But yeah, it was fun.
I can remember years back.
That's something you see a lot.
I can remember back when I was living in Michigan, there were winters where the temperature would drop well into the negatives, double digits. I think there was one year it was like negative 17 out where I lived. Although the difference between me and Matt is I lived on the west side, right by Lake Michigan. So, lake effect snow.
Yeah, sorry, I need to get a converter out to see how much that is. Where are we going? At temperature, Fahrenheit.
Negative 17 Fahrenheit. So that is going to be
27 degrees Celsius. What?
Negative 7. Salem says negative 17. That's warm. Haha. Of course you'd say that. You damn youper.
I prefer Celsius. It just works better for me.
Negative 17 is that's cold. Yeah. I haven't had negative temperatures since moving back to Washington. This never gets that cold. That was even with our snowstorm.
Lucky you. Yeah, no, it's just nuts. I would actually kill for some actual cold weather here where I'm living now.
Well, actually, I'm trying to remember because this is I know this is the thing like down in New Zealand. When it's like summer up here, it's winter down there. Same in South Africa.
Yeah, Southern Hemisphere. So that's literally the seasons are flipped. So when you guys have winter, we have summer. Blah blah blah.
Okay, so we're about to have spring, so it should be autumn down there, right?
Autumn starts around April. Yeah. March is the last of our quote-unquote hottest months. Forecast for the rest of the week. Sunday is going to be a scorcher.
Here, I thought December would be your hottest.
December, January, March. Feb, March. Those are our hottest months. Just before we switch over to autumn. But yeah, so Sunday we are looking at a forecast of 80 degrees Fahrenheit.
Jeez.
I keep my weather their app keeps sending me alerts for pollen over in Aberdeen.
So yeah, and if the humidity holds for the week, it's going to be 73% humidity as well on that day.
Sunday on my end is 60.
So
partial
think
cloud.
fucking Florida. Fucking
Try negative. Salem is saying try negative 40. Holy shit. Arlene says it was negative 46 in Chicago during the polar vortex. Yeah, well, that's why. Glad I don't live in the Midwest anymore.
You know, that's the funny thing about the polar vortex. I actually saw something about. Do you remember the movie Day After Tomorrow?
Yes, everyone remembers that.
That's the first movie where they used the polar vortex idea in a movie.
They used it very poorly.
They used the gross over-exaggeration of that idea, but yeah, the science about it was actually sound. But as disaster movies go, they had to ramp it up.
What I have to think is like, there's just no way you could get. There's just no way you could get like instant freeze like that.
No, I mean, not to that degree, but the idea when the polar vortex hit you guys was still the same kind of thing because it drew super cooled air from the upper atmosphere and dragged it down, but not obviously as bad as the movie made it out to be, because remember, disaster movie.
Or memes of it everywhere. Yeah. Also, if it got cold enough to insta freeze like that, lighting a fire is not going to keep it away.
Yep.
Just give me that.
Pretty much.
I could just say one thing. The guys who are getting the stickers as part of their Juan Pool rewards, it's going to look awesome.
Mm-hmm. We really got to think about stretch goal. But I want to live in the mountain near Vegas when it's cold, just to drive 10 minutes to get summer heat. Sam wants to move to Vegas. We should probably be, you know what? We should also probably be thinking about what we do in terms of stretch goal rewards.
Yeah. My thought is that we should probably keep it to what we can do.
Yeah, obviously. So, obviously.
You know what? If you can, like stickers and things like that would not be a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea.
Too hard.
Also, I think like I gotta see if Ginger can. I gotta get Ginger to color that one chibi picture she made of Maeve, Adobe, and Althea, because that would look good. That would either make a really good sticker or a really good T-shirt.
Oh yeah.
That would T-shirts
really
or if you.
Sure, would make a very good stretch goal actually.
And when it comes to and here's another one you could use. Yeah, I'm sending you guys a little something here. Just so you can get an idea. Just I'm sorry, chat and everybody else. This is not for your ears. This is under wrap stuff. So
yeah, okay. Salem is suggesting Maeve plushie. If we could find a way to, if we were doing it, I think at this point it would be an on-demand thing, wouldn't it? So maybe. I don't know. We've got us pushing the data head. That gives us time to. That does give us time to rethink.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So
there you guys have what I'm proposing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah, that isn't a bad idea. That is not a bad idea. You gotta hook us up with that artist.
Speak to Brian.
Oh. It's someone Brian knows. Of course it is.
Yes. The whitest cracker of them all.
The whitest black man.
Indeed. Because necromancy.
Gives new meaning to the phrase white chocolate.
Oh boy. We are so going to get struck down.
Why?
Why do you think it's Google?
Yes, I forgot.
Even though Brian has more than likely made worse jokes about himself like that 10 times over.
True.
Right? Because
And you'll probably have a good rebuttal for each one.
there is, I think I can count on one hand the number of words Brian actually finds offensive.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
definitely. I mean, it's just why bother get offended over a joke?
Yeah. Well, duh, Brian has a sense of humor for one. But yeah, like I said, like there's let me just put it this way, like I said, I can count the number of words he actually finds offensive on one hand, and all of them he has a good reason to be.
Like Coast Guard.
Yeah. Yeah, Coast Guard, just because they suck
They're
and they don't finish anything.
not even
And-
a part. They're not even a part of the military.
No, they're not. They're Department of Homeland Security, not Department of Defense. And although I have to wonder, does Brian have that same animus towards the National Guard?
I've been wondering that for a while, but I never asked.
I'll just tweet at him.
Oh boy.
That should be interesting.
I feel like it'd be something along the lines of Red Foreman's response.
National Guard is not the Army.
There are certain things you gotta wonder about. You there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm listening.
Okay. I got a little concerned because of how quiet it's been the entire time, but yeah, I've seen a lot of jokes made by Army veterans about National Guard too, so it's very likely that he's got the same reaction to the National Guard.
What do those jokes usually go?
What?
Oh my lord.
What?
Your blood.
No. I did it in the Maeve account. Shit, gotta delete that. Whoops.
Did you tweet the wrong thing?
No, he tweeted
Screw that,
in
I'll
his
just-
account.
I'll just ask him in Discord.
That might be safer.
Yes.
That was
That might
holy
be
shit. I'm
safer.
glad I caught that. I'm glad I caught that. That was a bad idea.
Twitter jail for 7 days.
For who? For you.
For Brett.
Oh.
That would be funny. The good news is the stream didn't get knocked. Bad news is Twitter jail for 7 days.
Maeve hates Coast Guard confirmed. I don't think she really cared. Maeve hates Coast Guard confirmed. It wasn't about the National Guard, Salem.
But I think it should be confirmed that she hates the Coast Guard too.
I don't think she really cares. It's like,
Hey, look at it this way. Look at it this way. At least they're not as inept as our Navy.
true. but that's a low fucking bar. That is that's a low fucking bar, man. Like literally anything looks better by comparison.
Yes, the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
The Coast Guard. At
fun
least we're not
times.
the South African military.
No.
South African Navy. We don't police sharks.
Yeah.
I will never not laugh
Wait.
at that. Never.
Hard to believe. Hard to believe that this is the same country that has produced some of the highest paid mercenaries in the world.
Also, the same country that did the first heart transplants in the world.
Same country that built the Marauder.
Yeah. Now we are, well, what's our latest thing?
Policing.
Oh, yeah,
Sorry.
policing sharks and the first country to successfully perform penis transplants.
Okay. That's okay. That last one's still a pretty good accomplishment.
But why?
Hey, somebody's gonna need it.
But now here's the question: does that constitute cheating?
Say what?
You heard me.
Well, I did, but I didn't quite make it out.
Okay, let's say you were the unfortunate guy that needed to get one of those. Would that constitute cheating with your wife?
Oh, I see. Salem just said, have you seen the video of the Venezuelan army? That's the new low. You know what? Yeah, now I think we can probably say the South African military is better than the Venezuelan one.
Oh, can you really? I've got a few more sad statistics available that I'm unfortunately not able to share on stream for various nasty, horrible reasons. Our military is the unfortunate recipient of a most unwanted record when it comes to being deployed to other countries.
I don't know, like I don't know. I know the video Salem's talking about. Like let's just say the Venezuelan army is made up of a bunch of sad sacks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Man. Okay, so do you think we've more or less run out of things to talk about at this point?
No, it's just one of the things that I'm looking for the article now that I can't find, unfortunately. But basically, our military recently had a military drill that they had to perform that they pretty much failed to prove their readiness for anything, and they fucking failed.
They failed the drill.
Yep. They couldn't get the guys to march in correctly. They completely and utterly fucking failed. Found it. Found it. Please share this with the chat, if you would be so kind.
Oh my god. Oh my lord. Okay, I'll screen share this. I better make sure I'm centered on me first. Okay, there we go. I had this.
Such
what the fuck?
Fucking hilarity. This, folks, are the people that are supposed to fucking defend us.
The button's not working for me. What the hell?
Huh.
I go to screen share, but I can't click on share. What the hell? Ugh. Fine, whatever. Okay. South African National Defense members hilariously mess up a supposedly easy drill.
Yep. There's video
The
and
National
everything.
Armed Forces. National Armed Forces Day on Thursday, where President Cyril Ramaphosa laid a wreath at the SS Mendy Memorial on the lower campus of the University of Cape Town. However, it is the SANDF marching that has gone viral on social media. Oh my god. Oh my god. There's a tweet. This is the pride of the SANDF. They can't organize a piss up in a brewery, let alone protect a country in this country in a war. Unfucking believably useless. Okay. So they looks like I'm watching the video. They're trying to get into formation. A lot of guys seem to be out of formation. See, it's a really bad posture. Like, oh man, it's just like. Watch it.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. Share it with people so that they can look at it on their own time.
Oh my god.
I really think that you guys, that the South African military is, that's the only reason why you haven't been invaded and taken over yet. They make the others look much less worse in comparison.
Oh my
It's
lord.
just the thing that of all the nations yet down this side, we are pretty much the only ones who are able to have a standing military, and that's not exactly an accomplishment when you look at that fucking joke.
I kind of feel like you could probably send in the French military on cavalry and still take it over.
No, the French will give up too soon because white flag and all that.
Oh yeah, you know. And they'll build invincible fortresses that will be taken over because they forgot to guard their back.
And not build it across the entire fucking border. The failures of the Maginot Line are well known and well documented.
Yep. So the only reason no one's invaded South Africa is because everyone else is that much worse.
Pretty much. And to think, we employed and developed some of the best fucking military hardware the world has seen.
Well, that's what happens when identity politics takes over.
But yeah, so we actually ended this one on a funny note.
Yep. You know, I've got an unpopular video game opinion.
Oh?
What?
Far Cry New Dawn is actually a pretty good game.
Really?
I haven't heard anybody say that it's a bad game. It's just not as good as it could have been.
Yeah, that's what I've heard it say. Like, it's not a bad game. It's just not a very exceptional one.
I think it's better than Fallout 4.
You know what? I haven't actually played enough of Fallout 4 to form a solid opinion about it.
The story, in terms of story, I think New Dawn stays more on track with it than Fallout 4. But then again, Bethesda is not very well known for story or launching games without major bugs.
That is true, and also, they don't rely on the modders to fill in the gaps as much either.
No, that's probably why.
Much as I love modding the hell out of Fallout 4.
That's probably why they're not too excited about Stadia, because that means the end of mods.
Nobody will be able to fix our games. We'll actually have to do it ourselves properly.
Oh no.
Yeah.
We'll actually
You know,
have to do something fucking completely.
Yeah, you know, actually, I'm actually surprised with how good the modding community in Bethesda is. How come
Except
none
at
of those?
one time.
Why haven't they hired any of those people?
Except at one time.
No, they actually have hired a modder.
No. I'm talking about them having a good relationship that one time.
Really?
When they wanted to force everybody to make paid mods.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. And that was a bit.
That
was
didn't
that was
backfire
pretty
spectacularly.
That decision was actually pretty controversial, wasn't it?
See, that's the thing, because the majority of good modders have already, relied on a tip style system that a lot of these websites already have in place. Or they get their funds from things like, once again, Patreon. So it's not like they weren't getting money. The biggest problem for these paid for mods was the horrendously low amounts they would have gotten from it.
Yeah, Bethesda was essentially kind of screwing them over, wasn't it?
Yes. That is where the problem came in. And the fact that all mods were going to be monetized.
They would have made more money. They would have made more money putting their. Matt, we'll be right back. They would have made more money putting their mods literally anywhere else.
Yes, and then there was the other hilarious problem that there was no upload moderation. So anybody could just go onto Modders Nexus Mods, take random mod ABC, change a little bit of text in the text file, and upload it to this and start monetizing it.
You could have essentially stolen somebody's mod and made
Yes. You could
laundered
have yanked somebody's work. Exactly. And that is why the shit was so controversial. Because places, once again, like Nexus Mods, have checks and balances in place where they check everything and make sure that these things aren't happening,
Yeah.
But like Steam, this Bethesda system, not so much.
Yeah. It's just like they would, like I said, if anything, like if Bethesda had been smart, they probably should just use Nexus. They should just essentially be using Nexus mods as like a recruitment farm. Like just
exactly.
Just take a look at the modders there and hire the best ones. Just give the ones who make the best mods, give them jobs.
Oh, hi Valve and Counter-Strike.
That's what they did?
Yes, that's how Valve got Counter-Strike as one of their titles. They literally just bought the developers and put them to work. That is literally how that happened. Right up until the point the guy from Counter-Strike left and made a new thing that was actually inferior to the original, but details.
Yeah, I'm just kind of surprised why Bethesda's not doing that. Like, come on, you've got a very healthy modding community that love your games and make really great mods for you. You should be using sites like Nexus Mods essentially as a recruitment farm.
I think the same problem happens with all these bigger companies. The shareholders.
Yeah.
They don't like that some nobody out in bumfuck USA say show up.
I've got something funny.
Oh boy.
Who has seen Chuck Wendig try to wax lyrical about how Lord of the Rings is a bad book?
What?
And I care why.
It's fucking hilarious.
Is it because he says that it's racist and sexist?
Or is it because it's colonialist? Or because
let's go here. Tried to read Lord of the Rings a bunch of times and couldn't get through it. World building is not plot. Your book shouldn't read like an RPG manual and should make me wish that someone made an RPG of your book. The Chosen One is a tired narcissistic trope.
There's no
voice, but I don't care.
Motherfucker, there's no Chosen One in the Lord of the Rings. Frodo's a reluctant hero.
Exactly. You didn't read the book, dumb fuck.
Nobody was prophesized to get the One Ring. Literally nobody. There's literally no prophecies in the Lord of the Rings. And Frodo doesn't even want the ring. He doesn't even want to leave the Shire. He does it all because nobody else can do it.
Yeah, but still, it's just funny. Fun times.
Fuck, motherfucker, you didn't. This isn't even so you would have had to read the books to get. You just had to see the movies. You just.
You probably did just watch the movies and didn't even get through the movies, which cut out a great deal of the world building.
To be fair, that's because it would have slowed the pace down.
True. But if there is no world building, why the fuck were you reading your story?
Also true.
Hi, this is character A. He does some random shit. Okay, cool. What's his motivation? I don't know. That's literally what it sounds like.
Might as well be. It's just like
The only thing,
Might as well. Yes, Matt?
his idea of world building is letting everyone know the sexual orientation of his characters.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
This person loves to do bad things to cats. That's all you need to know.
you know, now that I think about it, how well did his Star Wars novels sell?
They didn't. It's
You know, when
stuff.
so
Bob barring Lost.
let me put it
Jedi,
this
really.
way. Okay, let me put it this way. Lower sales, probably not. I will say this. This isn't okay. Just because you don't sell as many copies as author A doesn't sell as many copies as author B, that does not make his opinion invalid. I'm just saying, when you can't even sell a book like Chuck Wendig can, you're not exactly.
Yeah,
it's
but I
not
think
even
this
that.
is just
You know
his.
what, fuck it. It's not even that his opinion. It's not that the problem with his opinion is that he is operating from a false premise. Everything he is, all his criticisms are more betraying the fact that he has at best barely read the book.
Yeah, but this is probably just his version of complaining about why don't my books sell because dead rights is blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's a bad. Salem says Wendig needs to meet a Wendigo. World would be a better place. Actually, I know I know you say it's a bad attempt at a joke, Salem, but actually, I know where you can. Chuck Wendig needs to Chuck Wendigo. Okay, that's probably worse. It's a terrible pun.
I hate everything.
That's actually an even.
Everything.
That's even. I take it back. That's actually a worse joke. It's not even a good pun. It's a terrible attempt at a pun. Ignore that. Okay.
Bad, Brett. Bad.
Yeah, sure, fine. Okay, but yeah, like everyone. Yeah, it's like that. It's the same with that Asian chick who was complaining that her book that this is what modern fantasy writers are up against. And there's 3.5 shelves for Tolkien.
Maybe because it sells.
Well,
Not
only that, he fucking invented a whole new. He fucking invented a genre. He's contributed so much. He's contributed so much to literature. He's a far more accomplished writer than most modern writers.
Can I just point out something?
Yeah.
Yes.
Most of those books aren't actually written by Tolkien. They are edited together by his son, Christopher.
Yeah.
And the majority of those books isn't story, but it's more of an analysis of the story by his son.
Oh, well, still, point remains. Maybe the reason these things are so full on the shelves is because they actually still sell.
Yeah, true.
And that's another thing I have to say is that the moment you get a major licensing deal from a major studio, the number of books explode for you.
Yeah, just
That's
ask
why
J.K.
George R.
Rowling.
That's why George R. R. Martin has about five cases, five bookshelves worth of books, despite having only 5 books out for Game of Thrones.
Song of
Oh,
Ice
well.
and Fire. Game of Thrones.
I'm saying it for the general audience.
And yeah, but Game of Thrones is like only the first book.
Yeah, but
A Song
more
of Fire
people
and
know.
Ice.
No, Ice and Fire.
What the fuck ever, I don't care.
Most people know it as Game of Thrones, though, so I'm just saying it for a general audience.
Yeah, no. How many bookshelves do you think J.K. Rowling has?
I don't
Too
know. I
many.
don't go in the young adult section. But you know what I think will be really funny?
What?
Stephanie Meyer becomes a good writer and manages to have a writing career after Rowling employed hers.
Wait, did you say? Are you implying that Stephanie Meyer's actually improved?
No, because I haven't read any of those books. I just think it'd be really funny. Everyone makes fun of Twilight, but the Twilight writer manages to outdo the Harry Potter writer.
That would be funny. I guess that would
That would be
kinda funny, I
hilarious.
guess. That'd be kind of
Which would effectively render quite a few of these arguments that these people have been making moot. But isn't that how it always goes?
Yeah. Oh, I did find out one thing about Far Cry New Dawn.
Oh?
The unicorn onesie. You can either get a part of it by liberating an outpost, or you can buy it as a microtransaction.
But of course. And that's another thing that I'll say about the latest Ubisoft games that I've played. Yes, there's a lot of cosmetics, but that is how they monetize the games. And I've stated numerous times, I've got no problem with that. Because, believe it or not, there is ways to get these things from playing just the game itself. It takes longer, but you can still do it. And it's not like it prevents you from playing the actual fucking game.
Mhm.
Not like our good friends EA with Battlefront 2.
Changing gears for a sec. Do you think I'm going to catch flack for making certain Fae gendered?
Sorry, what?
Okay, so here's the thing. Like, do you guys
No,
know that
I
Banshee?
didn't hear what you said because...
Do you think I'd catch flack from SJWs for essentially locking certain fairies to specific genders? Because, like, if the thing about Banshees, they are always women.
Well, if you read the latest thing that I saw from Kotaku, where they are apparently so upset that the latest races in one of the Final Fantasy MMOs are also locked to specific genders.
You're going to make them angry no matter what.
Yes. So, my friend, you're going to piss them off regardless. So stop thinking about it.
I
If
don't
the
know.
thought crosses your mind, am I going to piss them off? The answer is yes, you will.
I don't know. Like, but here's the thing: I've only got 2 specific Fae that are gender locked, but they're both women. None that are specifically locked to men. Somehow I get the feeling if there were. I think the reason why the Kotaku article exists is because you have one race that is specifically female and one that is specifically male. Remember, it's only problematic when men do it. Remember?
No, it's going to be problematic no matter what because they oppress in Olympics.
Yes,
Whatever.
that is the other side of it.
Yeah, not that I really care.
Speaking
It's just something I like speculate on because I can already. They're just so because like I can imagine like Changeling might initially grab the social justice crowd because it looks like something they'd like, but then the
And
more
then
they
you
stick
turn it
with it,
on
the
its
more
head.
they find out. Wait a minute, this isn't progressive at all.
Yep.
Quote,
So
unquote.
what were you gonna say, Tank?
I'm going to share a town that we have this side. I'm going to share the name of it.
Oh boy.
We
I'm
can't
not
say
going to
that
give you
on
the.
air.
I'm not going to give you the name. I'm not going to give you the pronunciation. You're just going to see what it's spelled as.
We can't say it on air, can we?
No, you can. You can. Now, the funny thing is, I just need to find the old spelling because they recently decided to change it. But hey, here we go. This is what the town is called. Let me just find a. Here we go. There's a link. Copy link and just drop it here. Okay, there you go.
Okay. Let's open this up.
And tell me that that won't be triggering to them.
Oh yeah, that's triggering, all right.
If you had to
triggering.
pronounce it like from you guys' side,
Wow.
it would literally be called male lane.
Wow.
Triggering, all right. I didn't- you could be more.
Re.
Oh
But
boy.
in actuality, the name's pronounced Malala.
Uh,
But still, the name itself, it's like when you see it the first time, they dare.
yeah, but yeah, like I said, I don't really care about if I make the social justice the SJWs re, because like I said, like once I put in writing that gag that Maeve and Jenny are not gay for each other and never will be, like that's effectively when that'll be effectively when I lose them.
Well, you will already get them all angry and in a huff when they find out what her religion is.
Well,
No. They might stick with it. They might stick with it because wait, there's the possibility she might reject it. Well,
That's
then they'll
also
probably.
true.
Yeah,
Well.
but then they'll probably abandon ship once they find out. Wait, he's talking about Christianity in a balanced and nuanced way, and saying that maybe it's not a bad thing to leave it. I mean, maybe it's not a bad thing to stay with it. Wow, I really missed the speak there.
that's probably one of the reasons why Babylon 5 isn't a major sci-fi franchise.
He's actually not. He's not. You mean he's not? You mean this isn't a? She's not fighting some oppressive patriarchal religion. She's actually really thinking about what do I really want. She's actually giving it some thought as to what. Yeah, she's actually giving it some thought as to either stay.
Yeah, that'll get them. You see, that's the thing. You've
Yeah.
got so many themes running around that no matter what you do, how you frame it, how you go about it, as Matt said, you will make them angry regardless.
I know, and I don't really look. I don't care because like they're not. Because like I mean, to borrow a phrase from John De La Rose, you weren't gonna buy the book anyway.
Exactly. They're not going to buy the book anyway. Unless, of course, they want to be one of the one or two guys that back books from the independent side, if only for the pure fact to dunk on them on Twitter.
Hey, a sale's a sale.
Yeah.
Sales a sale. At least you read the book. Thank you.
Unlike someone else who,
Sorry, I can't hear you over all the money I've just made.
unlike a certain other guy who ran a crowdfunder for his book, we are actually if someone elects to withdraw their pledge, we're taking that person off the mailing list. We are not going to ship books at a loss.
Yeah, but you know what the funny thing is with Kwanzaa's new book? He actually after he found out which guys were in support of Comicsgate and everything, he actually refunded all their money because he doesn't want their money to fund his book.
Really? So that's why he hasn't made his
Yeah.
money yet.
No,
Wow.
because he killed a bunch of pledges.
Damn. It's
He
like,
would have
come
been-
on,
He
dude.
would have
you
been
should-
over the line.
He's like, wow. No, that's stupid. I mean, like, look, at a certain point, politics have to give way to business.
Well, he's not good. He's not smart.
True.
And the thing is,
It's just these funny things that you find out when you take a peek at the drama sites every now and again. Then you pick up on these things, but still, drama. No, thank you. It's like poison.
yep.
You know, somehow I get the feeling he is not. I do not. He is not going to make that goal, and there's no way he gets a third book.
Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. But at the end of the day, he's only got himself to blame.
I think that even if he does make funding on the second book, he's not likely to reach funding on the third book because he's just poisoned the waters.
Man, do you want to hear? I can give you guys a publishing story that's almost. It's almost kind of prescient for Kwanzaa.
Oh, boy.
Okay. It's Maddox.
Funny how
Okay.
everything starts and ends with that name these days.
Okay, so you guys know about Maddox's first book, Alphabet of Manliness.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like it's doomed to fail.
It was actually a New York Times bestseller.
Oh,
Then came Maddox's second book, I Am Better Than Your Kids, where he was criticizing children's artwork.
I'm surprised that was that a New York Times bestseller?
It wasn't. It failed miserably, and Dick actually said on his pod he was there when it happened. His publisher told him he would never get a release for another book. No, not a release. An advance. He would never get an advance for another book. His publisher told him that. Although somehow Maddox still somehow managed to go for F asterisk CK Wales. Now that is not me censoring myself. That's literally how he went with the title. It's
Wow.
supposed to be fuck Wales, but he replaces the U with an asterisk. Originally that book was supposed to be like I think it was supposed to be like a collection of old essays or something. I don't remember. The point is, it did worse than I Am Better Than Your Kids. It was an even bigger failure. It's just like no more books.
Well, yeah. When your follow-up to your New York Times bestseller is about criticizing kids, it's not going to do well.
I don't know. It's just the thing is, like, I don't think Dick went into enough detail about this because I'd really like to know the reasons why I Am Better Than Your Kids did not do as well as Alphabet of Manliness. Because, like I said, Alphabet of Manliness was a New York Times bestseller. So what did he do right then that he forgot? I mean, or unlearned?
Well, I think it's mainly because it's all about the kids.
I guess. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Like, I'm just saying the concept. It's not like it's a concept that's doomed to fail. I mean,
Yeah,
Rice Gum essentially made a career out of criticizing kids' artwork.
Oh, who knows? Maybe it's because they saw through Maddox's sit.
I don't know. It might have been the thing where, like, he was. I think, like, I don't know. I have to believe that this was still back when Maddox knew how to be funny, somewhat. So what was he? I just can't understand. It's just a mystery to me, because the thing is, like, everyone's got that thing about, like, how back in the day Maddox actually used to be funny. He was like he was. Some people have referred to him as like the original internet edgelord. He was well, not just that. I mean, like, he was actually good at it. Like, his website was getting millions of hits, and that was without him pouring into ads or anything. Like, he was getting millions of hits just off word of mouth alone.
I think it was mainly because his ego got involved.
Maybe.
And that's a big problem that we need to address. Is we should probably not let our egos run away.
Yeah. Well, duh. Yeah, I mean, like, also, I mean, like, I think there was also a thing where I think with Alphabet of Manliness, I think I've actually read the book. It's actually a good work of satire. I mean, it's a book where it talks. Let me put it this way: it's a book where B is for boners. Like, how serious do you think you're supposed to take this?
Not serious at all.
And it's probably actually written well too. So, I mean, like, I remember actually liking most of what I read.
Boy, how things have changed.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like, fuck. Like, so yeah. But to bring it back to where my original point was, White is not gonna do, like, even if Kwanzaa does make the goal for White, this book is not gonna sell. It's not gonna move units.
Look, my local Barnes & Noble stocked Black and Black AF about 5 months ago, and it's still there. The same copies are still there.
Yeah, no one's gonna buy this.
I can't imagine why.
That's why that's probably why Kwanzaa has to rely on crowdfunding, because he can't get the funding any other way.
A year ago, they stocked Kim and Kim, and it's still there.
Yeah.
Well, also, once again, I can't imagine why.
The title, "Oh shit, it's Kim and Kim," that's what the retailers are saying.
I don't know, really, it's it's a mystery. Fuck, what ever could it be?
I said this before on Wicked on the Wicked podcast a couple times. At the end of the day, it does not matter how many good reviews your book got. The only thing that at the end of the day, what matters is how many units did you sell.
Yeah, and there's one thing that I've learned about critics, is that they don't determine what lasts.
No, they don't.
Critics, 100 years ago, critics were saying that Mark Twain wasn't that great of an author. Now, you can still get his books in the bookstores.
Dude, his books are required reading in high school.
Yep. And one thing that I think Fonda Lee and all these people who decry Lord of the Rings are forgetting, that it's not so much about a dead guy taking up shelf space. It's about about how he got there from being rejected a number of times. Frank Herbert got rejected a number of times, and yet he was able to get published.
Yeah.
The journey is as important as the end goal. And the journey is how you learn the tricks of your trade.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to take the easy way and take out the people who came before you, it's going to make the end point that much less meaningful.
Okay, let's just say as a thought experiment, bookstores start clearing shelf space so that the new writers can, quote unquote, have a chance. Okay, maybe it does good for their sales numbers initially, but not long term, because why? Because again, it comes back. The only thing that matters at the end of the day is sales figures.
Yeah, and I'm not kidding myself by thinking that I could do as good as Lord of the Rings.
I got no illusions of that.
I have no illusions that I'll sell as many books as Stan Lee did.
Yeah, and we're not. Yeah, but
No,
we're
exactly.
not.
I mean,
Here's the
it's
thing,
all
though, we're
about realizing and understanding that, okay, cool, I'm starting out. I'm gonna call it what it is. The hubris to believe that you will be able to outsell and be better than guys who have come many years before you is what ultimately will lead you to fail.
You have to recognize that you're standing on the shoulders of giants.
Yes.
Yep.
Exactly.
And it's not just, I almost want to say it's sort of like this. It just feels like this sort of postmodern. It just feels like something from modernity, like all that old stuff. We don't need it.
Wrong. You need to learn from it, because when people talk about race, the whole thing is that the lessons aren't based on race. It's based on whether or not you're willing to learn from it.
Yeah, but that's once again when it comes down to the whole postmodernist view of everything. The way the lens that everybody views shit through these days is literally comes down to, I don't like the story because it was A, written by XYZ, because B, these people recognize a lot of nasty things that these guys are saying, the negative aspects that they want to try and have their characters live through, get through, learn from, grow. These people see that within themselves, but instead of doing the same thing, going on the journey, doing the work, essentially healing themselves of these negative aspects, they'd rather just keep them. And they don't like that hard truth being delivered to them, because all their whole life, everybody's been told, you are special, you are this, you are that, participation trophies, all those things. Nobody knows these days anymore what it is to truly fail, because society has become to the point where the blow is softened. Everything is made nice. Everything's given bubble wrap.
Oh yeah, yes. Trust me, failure is something failure is something I am very well acquainted with. Do you want to know what it's like to fail?
Yeah.
Try. Here's something. I like to see any of them try this. Try getting told one day at your job that they're letting you go, and you've got literally no money, you've got no backup plan, and you're effectively out in a state by yourself. And about the only way you're able to the only way you are able to survive is by stretching your tax refund to keep up your rent so that you don't end up homeless and just living off nothing but soup and whatever the cheapest food you can buy that you can make last, and you are just sent, and you are spending all hours of the day sending job application after job application, not hearing back for months, and then right when you're down to your last month's rent, you actually land a job.
Well, these people don't do that. What they do is they they go towards the e-begging route just to get a sandwich.
Because guess what? I fucking did that. That was my first year in Washington. I spent 3 months out of work. Survived.
Yeah, dude, I'm not attacking you. I'm just saying. The thing is, where the difference comes in is you learned from it, you grew from that, and you made something of yourself. These people, they've become so accustomed to having hangers-on, people that would listen to their sob stories each and every time, and then they just keep getting the money, keep getting the money, keep getting the money, to the point where they become professional e-beggars. That's their job. That is literally their fucking job. They've become so adept at fleecing money from people just to stuff their face. Not even to do something useful to it. What they're doing is they're effectively killing off crowdfunding as a viable method for people who want to do something properly with the money. You guys who want to do books, you want to do something, you want to give people something back for what they're giving the money to you to do. These people aren't doing that. What they're doing is they're just going around, buying a sandwich, and that's it.
Oh man, I got something for that. It's a Penny Arcade comic. You guys might know which one I'm thinking of.
Actually, I don't.
Wait, you don't read Penny Arcade?
Nope. I've probably told you numerous times, I'm not that big into a lot of the popular culture. It's how you grew up here.
All right.
You miss all of the big fads, everything else. It's just literally you just walk around and it's like happening.
Okay. Because screen share is not working, I'll just link everyone. I'll just put the link in the chat. But I don't think I have found a more apt way of putting what Tank just said.
Yep, that pretty much nails it.
I found your Kickstarter page, and you're a monster.
Yeah.
Give me a bunch of money. Pledged of $1 million goal.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what these people are doing. That's pretty much what they're doing. They're not giving anything at all back to the people who've given them money.
I just love those. Those back rewards. Pledge 25 or more. At the $25 level, you have the satisfaction of knowing you gave me $25. Pledge $50 or more, and I will think you are much cooler than those jackass who gave me $25. $100. I will let you catch, cook, and eat one of the people who only pledged $25. Pledge $500 or more. All right, now we're getting somewhere. Pledge $1,000 or more. I will yell your name really loud while I chase a duck. Pledge $5,000 or more. If I see a funny video online, I will send it to you if I remember. Pledge $10,000 or more. You can tell people that we had sex that one time.
Yeah, he is a monster.
You know what the funny thing is? The $1,000 tier.
Yeah.
The $1,000 tier. I think Penny Arcade once ran a crowdfunder just so that they could to get money so they could run their site without ads on it. And Tycho yelling your name while he chases a duck, they actually made that one of the backer rewards. They made a bunch of joke rewards in there.
Did they actually make funding?
Let me check that. I think Penny,
because that would just once more lend credence to the one thing that fools and money are easily parted.
I have to check that out. Penny Arcade, that one was done years ago. Let me look it up.
For a time.
Let's see. Wow, 9,000 backers, $528,000. Their goal was 250.
I rest my motherfucking case.
Although, to be fair, Gable shut your name as he chases a duck. That was the dollar tier. So
Yeah. But did they give people actual proper rewards?
here we go. Okay. Gable pledge $1 or more. Gable shut your name as he chases a duck. There will be no ads and you'll be listed on our supported by page. Pledge $15 or more. Gable think of you during sex and a certificate of appreciation will be mailed to you. $25 or more. Never before released digital version of Penny Arcade Book 1, Attack of the Bacon Robots, and Taiko will name your pet. Pay $35. All previous rewards and receive a copy of On the Rain Slick Precipice of Darkness 3 on Steam. $50 or more. All previous rewards in a high-resolution 8.5 by 11 print of the Lookouts image from Update 9 sent to your door. $75. Previous rewards and yeah, so there were some rewards. I wouldn't say a lot of them were good, but there were rewards.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, at the end of the day, crowdfunding like that for things like websites and such has been supplanted by things like Patreon or Subscribestar or whatever else is the thing that's running around these days.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you don't see crowdfunders like that anymore insofar as keeping a website ad-free or something like that.
Yeah, at the time, because at the time, Patreon wasn't a thing or wasn't as widely used.
Yes, so it kind of makes sense. So people who value the website and value their opinions, like the webcomic and whatever else.
Oh yeah, Penny Arcade is still like one of the most well-known webcomics in the world. And fuck, they even have their own convention, Penny Arcade Expo.
Yeah, and it's one of the biggest ones, and if it continues growing as it currently is, it'll probably because there have been more big announcements at recent Penny Arcade Expos that I've actually cared about than shit that was actually announced at E3. Add to the fact that smaller developers will have an easier time of getting into Penny Arcade Expo.
Yep, and that's going to be a big draw for them.
Fuck it, we might even.
Yeah, so
fuck it, we might even.
That said,
I can almost see us like. I was gonna say like, it might actually be in Wicked's might actually be to Wicked's interest to start looking to conventions like PAX or RTX.
Those are all valid ideas, but don't put the cart before the horse.
Yep.
Okay, I want to stress that's just me spitballing, okay?
No, I understand why you're spitballing. I'm just saying.
No, that's not for you. That's for everyone listening.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But let me just add a little something in there. Wicked's new. How many books have they got out?
4 or 5.
Yeah. I think they'll need to go a little bit further, get 2 or 3 more. I don't know. It's just 3 specific books I'm thinking about. Then that'll be a nice round number that they will be able to fill a proper table with.
Yeah. At least give the company a couple of years of growth first.
Yes.
The funny thing is that I'm pretty sure that they could probably get in at Youmacon because my ex's husband is a guest there, and he's only known as a cosplayer and a YouTuber of 17K subscribers.
Wow.
Shit. Well, damn.
Yeah.
I've written off ECC completely just because, like I said, because Kraken told me there's actual gatekeeping there, and I have every reason to believe him.
Well, that and the fact that you are deathly allergic to a certain city.
I hate going to Seattle, but if I had to, I would.
Yeah, sorry, man. I just had to poke some fun on that one.
Let me put it this way. I would rather pass on Emerald City Comic Con. But if I could get in, it would be a good business opportunity.
True.
but I can't.
But hey,
Because because all they gotta do is scan through my Twitter and find out, oh, he follows Donald Trump.
oh, never mind the fact that if they find the shit I tweet about half the time.
Like you
I
could
know,
even get
he
it.
follows a gigantic meme lord. Alt-right! Ree!
I'm surprised nobody attacked Bruce Campbell for doing that respectful picture, photo of him and a Donald Trump statue.
No, it's a statue. It's not the actual Donald Trump.
Well,
Oh, wait, sorry. I forgot they attack statues as well.
yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, yeah, like I said, if I could get into ECC, it would be a good business opportunity. I am not gonna. I would be stupid to deny that, because it is ostensibly the biggest convention in Washington.
Yep.
Although I think Chuck has actually said that doing the big cons is actually not very good for indies. He said Sporkman did way better at smaller cons too. Didn't he?
I believe so.
Well,
There's a
Because here's why. The bigger conventions are for the big titles and movies these days. They're not about the comics anymore.
Yeah, so on the one hand it'd be cool to have a booth at San Diego Comic-Con, but if you're an indie creator, you're probably lucky if you can get your sales into the double digits there.
Basically.
Literally going to be a case of, if you manage to get in there, you'll be so far pretty much in the sticks of how the convention's set up, nobody will get to your table anyway.
Yeah.
Or
makes you wonder how Brian managed to sell rags out when he was at San Diego Comic-Con.
Antarctic Press.
Say what?
AP.
Antarctic Press.
Oh yeah. That's
Remember,
right.
they are around. They've been around for a little bit longer, so
yeah. Okay, so
they did actually manage.
He had a bit of an advantage.
Yes.
Honestly, though, I think one of the best ways of actually making money at a convention would be to be invited as a guest there. And I think that if Wicked does contact Youmacon about the idea of setting us to their convention, it'd be not only a good place for the Mythoverse to do its stuff, because it's a Halloween-themed anime convention.
Oh, yeah.
It'll get more eyes on us because it's a convention of 20,000 people in attendance.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
Also, it would be awesome to meet you guys.
Yeah.
And eventually Tank, when he eventually makes enough money to move to the United States.
Yeah, when one can dream.
Yeah, by the time that happens, you probably won't even want to live in the United States, because God knows it'll be 2024, and the Democrat is in charge.
Oh, just in time for the eventual civil war.
Because it seems like it goes in cycles. And it started with Bill Clinton. 8 years Democrat, 8 years Republican. 8 years Democrat. It's more likely going to be 8 years for Donald Trump.
Oh boy.
Well, we're gonna have to wait and see.
That's just because the DNC has fucked the dog so badly. Even someone who looks like a good candidate like Andrew Yang doesn't have a shot.
Well, what's his big fucking thing he's running on? Oh, yes, universal basic income.
Yeah.
in a way, I can see where he's coming from because automation is eventually going to take over, but I don't see it as a viable solution because of the fact that you've got government officials who have their pet projects that they tie their money into, and you've got controlled spending. It's just a mess financially, and nobody seems to want to fix it.
But why?
Honestly, I definitely know one thing I can blame on. It's because government's full of boomers.
Yeah, but look at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Are they that much worse than her?
She's a product of our environment, and it's an environment that was created by the boomers.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the best candidate for next Republican president would be Dan Crenshaw.
Yeah. You know what? I think now that we are back to talking about politics, we can pretty much effectively end this one here tonight.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
Politics, the fastest way to kill a stream.
Yeah, I'd agree there. Well, just kidding. They all, yeah. Salem says, well, just kidding. They all suck. Read comics instead. I completely agree with that.
Well, they've got right now, politics and comics seems to be intertwined because of certain creators.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
It's
I'd
like,
love to get away from that though.
I don't know. I think I can at least end this on just saying, you know what? I don't think the world is going to get better until all the boomers are gone.
I think it's going to get better when we start having more common sense.
True, but it's just like, I'm just saying, a lot of the state we found ourselves in is because of the boomers.
Yeah.
When the history books are written, it is not going to judge the boomers kindly.
Nope. Although, there's one thing I have to say I'm going to suggest to Wicked about growing their YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're going to have community game nights with the creators.
Uh-huh.
We could do what Achievement Hunter is doing with their Let's Plays. They're turning it into animated shorts about 2 minutes long with their funniest material.
We just got to find an animator is all.
Yep. And they don't have to be incredibly well drawn. They just have to be funny.
Well, yeah, Achievement Hunter, their animated shorts are just a bunch of stick figures.
Well, that's Rooster Teeth. The Achievement Hunter ones are actually a little bit more sophisticated than that and in full color.
I'm just saying those stick figure animations get the job done pretty well.
Oh yeah, and the first one I can actually tell you why I don't think Rooster Teeth is an SJW company, because they say the C word in it, and they haven't taken it down.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Joel Heyman going on a rant about how.
Holy shit!
What?
Lenore just said she got back on Twitter.
Oh wow, that's great.
That's awesome.
It didn't have to take her a month like some of their other aspects.
Okay, that's actually a pretty good note to end on.
Yeah, that is a
Lenore's
good note
back
to
on
end on.
Twitter.
Lenore's back. Cool.
Yep.
I need to find that GIF. I need to actually remember for that one.
That's actually
Hashtag dead. The one with Pinocchio lying face down in the river stream.
okay. Okay. We'll just Lenore's back on Twitter, guys. Be happy. That's a good. That's no end on.
That's a good one to end on.
All right. We'll see.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
We'll be back tonight. See ya.